Well, this is our new town that we have adopted, Huntly. This is the main road running from Auckland right the way through the centre of New Zealand, which is the Highway 1. On the other side of the main road is the Waikato River. Across from the river there is the Huntly Power Station, which we will tell you a story on later. Looking right the way down the river and again across to the road, State Highway 1. Looking down from the hill across the other side of the road from where we live overlooks the whole of Huntly. Huntly is surrounded by rolling hills all the way round. Just down there, perhaps as we go by, you could make out the lake, which we'll take a closer look at in a moment. Mingled down there is the main road, State Highway 1, which we've just seen from the bottom. Also going through the town, right through the town centre, is the Waikato River. The Waikato River splits the town, as I say, in half. There's the west side and the east side. We live on the east side. This is the east side I'm filming from now, looking right across to the west side. Once again, the Huntly Power Station, which I'll tell you about later on. The population of Huntly is over 7,000 people. And there are over 50 clubs and organisations in Huntly. I don't know whether you'd be able to make it out, but way down there in the distance there's the traffic going along State Highway 1. Right, and now I think we'll go down and take a further closer look at the lake. And from Lakeview Terrace there is, of course, this magnificent view of the lake. And here on the east side of Huntly is Lake Hakanoa. Situated beside the lake here is the caravan park, swimming pools, tennis courts and of course the boating club. Up there on the hills you can see the houses up there. That's where I just took this first shot from the hills looking down. We can hear an aeroplane. We'll have a look at that aeroplane in a moment. There he is, he's crop dusting. I don't know whether they do that in England or not. They fly over the hills and over the fields and dust the fields with fertiliser. Right across from the lake. Again, from the lake, looking round, there's the playing fields for soccer, football. Right in the background is the power station, community hall. And looking around from the side of the lake here, we come across the boating club headquarters, situated right at the side of the lake. There's nobody about at the moment, but at the weekends it's crowded with boats out on the lake. But I chose to come down on a quieter day to film it. Here's one of the clubs in use, the tennis courts. Of course it says on the sign Women's Bowling Club, but of course I can see there's a lot of men there as well. And there is about 5 parks in Huntly too for the children to play in. I think they're enjoying themselves all now. This is the public. Right side stream here, just streets coming from the lake, is the Huntly camping ground. The camping ground is very popular with tourists going through Huntly on their way north south, which is a very handy stopover from their own drive. One of the many flower gardens in Huntly are being attended to regularly. No matter whereabouts you go in Huntly, you'll find flower gardens. Another regular meeting place for the residents of Huntly . And here we are in the main centre of Huntly, the shopping centre. It's a shop very similar to Woolworths or Marks & Spencer put together. The shopping centre of Huntly is quite a busy centre. There are several dozen shops. The township of Huntly is on the east side of the river. Just behind the town is the river, which separates Huntly in half. Here in the town centre, the pub. Huntly also has a 1-hour bus service going from Auckland south, or vice versa. Yeah, and what wouldn't we do without video? You certainly won't run short of petrol in Huntly. There's plenty of service stations dotted about. And there's always plenty of fruit, fresh fruit and veggies. As we live in a subtropical climate, of course, there's always plenty of fresh veggies and fruit available. all the year round. Standing right beside of the river is the power station. This is the largest power station in New Zealand. And it puts out 1,000 megawatts into the national grid to supply New Zealand, or part of New Zealand. The chimneys you can see there are the twin chimneys. They are 150 metres high. The power station is fueled with coal and natural gas. The coal comes from one of two coal mines situated here in Huntly. One coal mine is on the west and one coal mine is on the east. The power station is on the east side of the river, and the coal comes by conveyor belt straight directly from the open cast mine. And they use the Waikato River for the power station's cooling system. Not only is there a power station in Huntly, but there is three sources of main work in Huntly. The power station, of course, and the brickworks and coal mines. And next I'm going to tell you about the Waikato River. The Waikato River divides Huntly itself into two halves. It starts back in Taupo, which I'm going to tell you the story of shortly, and the Waikato River is 450 kilometres long. It's the longest river in New Zealand. And of course it finishes up in the sea on the west coast. Well, here we are over now on West Huntly, and we'll take the river from West Huntly side, and the river looking from the west. The bridge that separates East and West Huntly. The river winds itself along under the bridge, and around the corner there's a bend in the river up further past the power station. But I'm going to start the story from where the river really begins. Well, we're down here looking across the river now from the west side across to the east side. Over the other side there is the town of Huntly. All those buildings you can see there is the backs of the shops which are backing onto the river. Huntly also gets its drinking water from the river. Over there is the main highway, and beyond that it's just the town. There goes the cars round into the town there now, and the main highway going by. But also beside the highway is the railway line, also running from Auckland through to Wellington, the capital of New Zealand. Trains on this line run 4 a day, going backwards and forwards from Auckland to Wellington. And now look at the railway line and the road running beside it in the other direction. At the end of the train there's a stationary train with carriages. At the end there is Huntly Railway Station. There are no local trains going backwards and forwards in Huntly. On a small footbridge going over the railway line and over the main highway. Down below there is the Huntly marshalling yards. main highway going south. The story starts here, at the foothills of Mount Ruapehu in the Tongariro National Park, where the small streams run down from the mountains. These small streams get bigger as other smaller streams run into them. Waterfalls also help to form part of the river as well. From this small stream you can see an inactive volcano behind it. The small streams and the waterfalls finally flow into Lake Taupo. The Taupo Island off the eastern shore of Lake Taupo is the plug of a volcano and an ancient burial ground guarded by a mythical monster that lives beneath the nearby reef. Lake Taupo itself was formed over 2,000 years ago, and it was one of the biggest volcanic explosions ever known to man. The eruption that took place threw out mud, rocks, molten lava, pumice. In fact, it exploded, and the scientists reckon that when it went up, it blew rocks into the air 50 kilometres high and 50 kilometres wide, and dirt and dust from the explosion or from the volcanic activity went from one side of New Zealand to the other. And then, of course, when it cooled down, finally the streams began to trickle into the Lake Taupo as we know it today. And today, Lake Taupo is full of trout. And Lake Taupo is the biggest lake in New Zealand. Here, the water runs off into a river to form the beginning of the Waikato. The town of Taupo is a very busy tourist town with many hotels and hotels. As the river leaves Lake Taupo, it's a haven for small craft. This is just outside Lake Taupo, and this is where the river actually begins. And this is the falls. Do you remember back in 1986 we sent you a video on Rotorua? More at the beginning of the video there was Tina writing her name in the side of the hill with Sheila, and we went down and filmed the falls. Well, in case you've forgotten, here's that piece of film again, taken at the falls, which is at the very beginning of the Waikato River. Well, I'm sure you all remember that back in 1986 from our holiday tape. So now we continue with the Waikato River, and this we carry on from only 5 kilometres from Lake Taupo. The river wending its way through dense bush. The kingfisher is a common sight along the river's edge. The river slowly wending its way through moorlands and through yellow lupins. This is taken at Broadlands. and then on through the pine forests. The river now running through Mangakino. The river also passes through 8 power stations, all generating electricity into the national grid. The river gushing through one of the power stations. The river is used for cooling purposes only and not to generate power. The river is also drained off in many places and many towns and used for drinking water after it goes through a purifying system, the same as it does in Huntly. The river passes now through Cambridge, which is about 45 minutes now from Huntly. The Waikato River was planted with trees around it in 1880, led to tree planting around the town as well, and it's now well known for its spreading oaks, planes and chestnuts. And now from Cambridge, the river runs through Hamilton. Hamilton being, I believe, the 4th largest city in New Zealand. Also, Hamilton has many beautiful parks where the river runs through and make beautiful picnic spots. This is one of many bridges that span across the Waikato River in Hamilton. Hamilton, of course, is only just half an hour now away from Huntly. And this is how the river is put to good use in the middle, in the city of Hamilton. The river now leaves Hamilton and heads for Ngaruawahia. The first regatta ever held in Ngaruawahia was held on November 1892, and it was continued every year on the nearest Saturday to St. Patrick's Day. The regatta. Ngaruawahia is now only 15 minutes away from Huntly. This is a Maori war canoe carrying about 35 Maori warriors. The boat's going upstream. 2 young Maori warriors having to do the bailing out under supervision. The river, now passing through Telperi, or past Telperi, the sacred mountain of the Waikato tribes. The mountain rises abruptly from the edge of the river, where the Waikato makes a sharp north-westward turn towards Huntly, which is only 8 minutes away. And so the Waikato River now runs through Huntly. The river, with the Huntly Power Station chimneys in the background. Now flowing past Huntly Power Station. The river, now getting wider, passes through Merry, and this is Merry Power Station. A white-faced is seen here by the river in the reeds. The river now flowing under the bridge at Mercer. Mercer is now about half an hour past Huntley and another half an hour to get into Auckland, although the river doesn't flow into Auckland. Water skiers out on the river. This is also at Mercer, and at the right hand of the river there you can see where it turns sharp left and heads towards the sea. The river now flowing under the old bridge at Tuakau, and this is the only bridge you can get across, the last one across the river now, to get out to the Port Waikato heads where the river meets the sea. This is the small township at Port Waikato. As you can see, the sea is on the top right hand corner there and the township in the centre. The river you can't quite see, it's on the bottom there, and on the left is a cabbage tree. Here at Port Waikato you can see the Waikato River just breaking through sand banks in the top right hand corner there of the picture, and the river there gushing out to sea. And the river has travelled 450 kilometres from Taupo to Port Waikato. And as the river goes out to sea at sunset, that ends the longest river in New Zealand.
Hi.
It's nice to see you all, although
No.
I can't see you. No, they're seeing me. Well, yes, this tape is going out to 4 different people this time. One to my cousin, who I haven't seen for about 37 years. Hello, Les. And Daphne.
Hi, Daphne.
And Les.
And Liz. I vaguely remember you. We discussed it the other day, and I can remember you coming to, what was the place? To call on us.
They came in to Bognor, didn't you? Yes, he says, you came to Bognor.
Yeah. I vaguely remember, there were so many cousins and that in England, and Mum's aunties and uncles, and we just started our family tree. It's a bit late in life, but my daughter, she's just 18, and she wants to get the family tree started, so she's got a lot of information on the grandfathers. Way back in when? 18...
Turn of the century, 1800.
1800.
Yeah, beginning of 1800.
Going back to 1800. Now she's decided to look on my mum's side and see where I originated from. Where do you originate from?
Holland. Anyway, we say also a hello to Tom and Molly.
Hi Tom, Molly.
We haven't seen you for, that must be, we've been married 36 years. We saw you about 2 years after we were married, I believe. So we haven't seen you for 34 years. And of course vice versa, you haven't seen us. So
Well, they know that.
Yep. So hello to Tom and Molly Collins.
Hope you're keeping well.
That's, yes, we hope you're all still keeping well there.
It's nice to know that everybody is well in England, though. Most of our friends and that we knew before we were married seems to be going well. Unfortunately, only one in my family in England has died, and that was Gordon, and my sister's husband. But we haven't lost anyone else, only our mum and dad here. Ron's mum and dad died.
You probably have to speak up a bit because the traffic going by outside, it's, what was the temperature here today?
26.
26, and it's very hot. We've got all the doors and windows open, so if we don't speak up, you'll pick up the traffic going by outside.
We're not normally inside in the day because it gets so hot inside. As you can see, I've got no shoes on. I'm just walking around bare feet.
Anyway, it's
Susie's
hello.
sitting under the trees down the garden.
Sit out the back there in the shade.
Yeah, it gets too hot inside. It's more humid than anything because it's a tropical country, isn't it?
Yep, tropical heat here. And it's a hello to Dennis and Dot.
Hi, Dennis.
And also your sister
Evelyn,
Evelyn,
Sylvia, Joan,
Sylvia,
Brian and
Joan.
David.
Joan was the one I was trying to think of.
Thank you very much for the tape. You've done a wonderful job on it. We've really enjoyed it again. And we do like, I mean, it doesn't matter what it is as long as it's you and Dot and everybody on it. And you do always do a fantastic job. So, and at Christmas time, I don't know whether you've moved, but I had a feeling that they'd moved or something, or going to move, were they?
No.
Well, it was his daughter's, another daughter has got their own home.
Somebody moved it anyway.
And you said you were on your own.
They're shouting it out. Who moved? Oh yeah, we couldn't hear you, but still.
No, your daughter moved out, and did she come back again? And I'd like to see some of the wedding. Love to see the wedding.
Yes, we've seen that.
Oh, we? Oh, God.
We had that on tape, didn't we? You sent us that. And Joan.
Of course we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what else did we see? Yeah, what she said, cut that bit out.
Well, it's embarrassing.
Well, we
now.
probably will have to chop about a bit because,
saw it.
as I say, we got 4 tapes to set this time. And one goes to Ashford, Middlesex, Tom and Molly. One going to my cousin, one going to Dot and Dennis, and one going to Joan. So we'll have to chop and change about a bit. This has been the 11th tape now we've sent to England over the period of about 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, it's been.
I've had this camera I've got now. I've had this camera. I was just working it out the other day. I've had this camera 10 years, and I was out doing a location shot yesterday with it, and one of the batteries packed up. So I've only got one more battery to go now, and it's not bad, I suppose. 10 years use.
No, that's good.
Whether we can afford to buy another camera when this one goes, I don't know.
Well, the more we do the videos, the more they want. I mean, there's our brother now found Davey, and he's after a tape, and I know he's been a bad boy in the past, but I believe that, or so the girls tell me. I don't know much about his background and what's happened, but he's still my brother and I still love him. He's writing to me, and that's a start. And he was saying the other day he'd really love to see a video of us. And if Joan or Dorothy could just put them, you know, like sent them a video just to have a look at it, to make sure we get it
Traffic convoy.
He'd like to see us. And also Brian, I don't know whether he's seen any tapes. Has he seen any?
Yes, Brian, yeah. Dennis let Brian have
because
1 or 2 tapes.
Brian's wedding is on one of those tapes.
Yes, Dennis,
And
did
I'm
Brian see
sure
the one with his wedding
He'd
on?
love to see that, wouldn't he?
Hmm.
No. Anyway, we're just taking the grandchildren on this tape. Lisa, she's a darling, she really is. They come up for the weekend. Their dad wanted to watch cricket on the television, I think, or he wanted to go for
He went to the
cricket
match.
And Marie was working, so he decided to also phone me up and say, Mum, can you look after the kids while I go to a cricket match? So it was quite a nice weekend. We went outside hosing each other down because it was so terrible heat. And we had to fan the kids to sleep at night because the temperatures were 29, wasn't it? 20,
Very
going
hot,
up to
yeah.
30 with the humidity. They couldn't sleep. So I was standing in the bedroom fanning them to get the kids to sleep, and within 10 minutes they were gone, weren't they? 3 or 4 baths a day to keep us cool. That's how it's getting. We'll be glad of the winter coming on, I think.
I can see Tom there and Molly saying, hasn't he got old?
Yeah, look at me.
60 now.
drawing the pension. I was telling Tina's sitting behind the camera there.
Baby to what?
Hello.
Tina said hello. Say hello again.
Hello.
She's sitting over there doing a bit of sewing. And I was saying to Tina the other day how when I was working for you, Tom, years ago, here she is, I was saying to Tina how we used to carry the tiles up on our head. Used to get all the tiles, put them together, put them on our head, run up the ladder and balance the tiles on our head and put them on the roof. I think we used to call that bumping out, didn't we, Tom?
I tell you what, he couldn't do it now.
But I'm not frightened of heights, I'll still go up on the roof.
Yeah, he climbs up like a monkey. I couldn't get up there. I tried to clean the windows on this house because we've very recently got it, the house I mean, and I tried to climb up to get, no way, I can't climb up to clean the windows outside.
Anyway, heights haven't got. By the way, Tom, you might laugh at this. We're not tiling this roof, we're going up next week or a week after and painting it. You paint the roofs here.
Yeah, well, they do.
Now we've got an iron roof, you see, and
galvanised iron.
nearly everybody's got iron roofs in New Zealand, wooden houses, iron roofs. And
the fire engine's always going off here in the summertime. Guess what happened last week? They bet the fire engine going out to put that
yeah, the heat
built
shining,
up in the roof.
the heat
one of
built
the
up in
houses
the
just up
in the
road
roof, in the loft. The heat built up and caught fire.
And that's what happens. Even the railway track, you know, runs through Huntley. It got so intense with heat that it set the grass alight around the train track, and it caught fire, didn't it? So it's another incident where the heat is so intense that you can't. You've got to sit in the shade. You can't do nothing else.
Fire engine goes off 2 or 3 times a day, and we listen to it on the radio on FM, find out where it's going to.
Yeah.
Anyway, we thank Dennis for his tape. Oh, there was a couple of things in it, Dennis. Now, what was it now I was going to say? Oh, we watched the grandchild there going to school.
Oh yeah. All in his best.
All tucked out in his suit and his cap
Dear wee
and
boy.
his shoes.
Dear wee boy, wasn't he?
Yeah, but
He looked so English. It was
so different to the kids here going to school.
We just watched them go up the road with t-shirts and bare feet.
That's all.
And they never wear shoes at school here.
You got them all done up in the 9s in England, but here, as I say, Sheila just said, the kids go by no shoes, just a pair of shorts and a thin
Even
top.
when it's raining, it's so tropical, you see, it's so warm that they just walk in the rain, no coats, no raincoats on.
Well, if they get caught,
Only torrential rain.
if they do get caught in the rain, well, it's only a matter of just nipping in the shower when they get home and putting on dry shorts and top again.
Yeah. Anything
but
you want to say here?
But you see people even in the town, they walk through the town shopping with no shoes and socks on, don't they?
Yeah. Well, by the way, we just received Sylvia's Christmas card.
Oh yes, thank you, Sylvia. If you get around to watching this tape.
Yeah. Though I think it came by ship, and it's it came by ship, and that's why it's taken so long to get here. But we still appreciate it, and it's been on the mantelpiece for a couple of days now. And the calendar is beautiful.
Well, by the date on it, it took 9 weeks to get here.
Yeah.
I think Sylvia forgot to put an airmail sticker on, and it came by surface.
Yeah. No, she might have wanted it to come to surface mail because it was expensive,
It was
enough.
expensive. It was £1.80 something p it was to get here. So yeah.
So I don't know what happened there. You wouldn't pay that for a parcel, would you?
No. We had to laugh the other day, didn't we? We put the TV on to watch the news, and
oh my God, yeah.
Well, of course, it's getting towards the end of February here, so it was about beginning of February. We were watching the news, and on came the news: snowing in England, blizzards, and here we were sitting here sweltering.
We looked at each other and laughed.
And we thought, well,
my God, I wish a little bit of blizzard would blow right now. We just couldn't stand the heat. It's been bad, really bad. It's sort of there's no wind, it's just heat.
Dennis was saying that last summer you had about 8 weeks, Dennis, and we thought, well, you'd never stand it here because your 8 weeks there is 8 months here. And I think if you came here in the summer, like a lot of people come from the South Island to the North Island here, where we're subtropical, they just collapse with the heat.
They can't
but
take it.
they can't take it. So I
Gina
think,
nearly fainted yesterday at work, didn't you, with a heat?
and I think if you came to New Zealand for a visit, you'd really want to get acclimatised first. We were lucky. When we first came to New Zealand, we arrived here in the winter and we slowly acclimatised. Our blood gradually thinned as the summer came on. We were lucky to get acclimatised. But if you come directly here into our heat, oh, it's astonishing. It's like walking into an oven. We went in the shops the other day, went into the bank, and we go to the bank once a week, around the shops. You go in there, they're all centrally not heated. Well,
They've got a cooling system.
Air conditioning.
Well, it's an air conditioning, but it cools the whole bank through. And we kept diving back in there because when we came out, the
Just
heat
like-
So
hit
nice
you.
and cool.
The heat hits you, and you just go back in just to have a breather. Or in the butcher shop, that's a good one. Freezer, in the freezer.
I stand in the freezers at work because I am doing a catering course, and we have these massive big meat freezers, and
Tell them what you're doing.
we'll stand in there and we wait till we get all cold and jump out again. You feel the heat when you come out of those freezers. And what we do at the catering course is we cook just food, and I bring them home and Mum and Dad have a good old gorge out of them.
She brought a chocolate log home yesterday, that long. And
I'll
that
go and get
thick.
this chocolate log. I'll show you it in a minute. Tina, would you ask Auntie Evelyn if she's got any information on our grandmother and great-grandmothers, because you're doing the family tree?
Well, I have to ask you just that.
No, well, you know what, you want to tell them what you want to do.
Well, I
Auntie
just
Evelyn.
basically want, if you've got any, or can you find any information about your mother's side or your father's side, because Mum doesn't know anything, or Sheila doesn't know anything about it. You can remember that far, far back when she was.
What?
You can't remember, can you?
I can't remember.
Any aunties
I can't
or
remember my grandmother's name. Oh, my
Anyway, this
my
won't be of any,
grandfather would have been Walter, because my dad's name was Walter.
yeah, well, this won't be of any interest to Tom and Molly, so we'll stop Tom and Molly here. And I'm going to show you a few episodes or pieces clippings from other tapes to make up your tape to send to you. And also the same with my cousin Les. We'll also send you another separate tape. We're going to show the others this house, and we can also send you that part and pieces of Huntley where we live. We will also show you other pieces of other tapes we've already sent to England. It won't be of any interest to Sheila's sisters at the moment, because they've already seen them over the years. So we'll stop the tape here, and I'll put a selection of different tapes on for Tom and Molly to watch, and also my cousin Les and Daphne.
Yeah, that would be the best way, isn't it?
your cousin Les and Daphne? Could I just put a message on?
But I would like to see,
Hurry up.
Evelyn, if we can get. I
Hurry
really
up.
appreciate if you can get the information on our mum and dad and the grandfather's names,
Well,
and
I just want to thank.
my great grandmother, my grandmother, and my great grandmother, and the great grandmother name, and where we
Thank-
actually originated from.
I don't think.
Evelyn might know that. You know that?
Right.
She might know. Yeah, she might have done the family tree once.
What's his name again, your cousin?
My cousin Les.
Well, Liz, thank you very much for sending me all the information you can on Dad's side of the family, and that I will be sending you, or you probably have received right now by the time this tape comes, information that I can get from more of Dad's side of the family, his brothers and his sister, and their family and their children, and because there's one of Dad's brothers, Len, is in Australia, in Brisbane, so I had to find out when he was born and his wife got married and things like that. So
His dad can't remember, like I can't remember my sisters half the time. I
I'm
must be our
getting
ages.
If you could hear a buzzing sound all through it, don't worry, it's the crickets outside. They make a heck of a din out there, don't
We'll have to catch one.
they? I think I've seen
A
the
whole terrible looking, aren't they?
Anyway, stop the tape now and show the others, tell the others what we're going to send their tape, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we'll continue now with, eh?
Sorry, I was waving.
We'll carry now with Dot Dennis and your sister, Joan, and we'll call them,
Sylvie,
and Sylvia, if,
Brian and David, if you ever see it.
if you've ever seen this tape. We're going to show you the house, outside, around, in the garden, then we'll take them through inside the house.
It's changed now since we've moved in because all the dahlias are out now and the grapes are all hanging on the vines, aren't they? And we're picking bands. Washington's still out, so don't video that. Oh, and my cows down the bottom of the garden, I think they come up today, and I'll see if I can get them to come up and get a feed. So we're going to encourage them up, shall we do that?
We look out the lounge window here. We've got a lovely,
I'll go and get a log.
a lovely inland view of the hills and out there. You'll see that on video. And then I was on location out there yesterday in Huntley, around the township, and to show you the power station and the river. So I've made a story of the river, so you can follow the story right through of the river. It's half of it we've eaten the half.
These are beautiful. And it's got cream inside and jam.
Fresh
It's got
cream.
things in it makes for free at work. And bring them home. So I'll hardly ever cook anything now.
We'll keep her
Really
on.
fat. Really
Keep her
fat.
on.
That's why we gain 10 pounds each week. We don't bring home. That's why Dad's so old.
Don't tell anybody that I'm 15 stone. No wonder I have a heart attack.
I'm having next.
You must be fed up with us seeing us on the sea, all our wrinkles.
I got wrinkles when I laugh.
You're my age.
So let's go around the garden and I'll have to show you around the garden next house. Go on, we're going off down there.
Yeah, there was nothing else now before we go.
What?
Nothing else to say just before we go. Well,
Is anything else in it? No.
put your fish on too, won't we? Should be a nice big fish, as usual. As usual.
I've got the big one again.
And
The grandchildren. The grandchildren.
oh, we were sorry to hear Dennis of the mother passing away. Not quite now without the letter.
Actually, Brian wrote to me and said about his letter, his lost child, his lost son. And I'm really sorry about that. I know I was for 2 or 3 weeks after. It's really distressing. I know.
It was one of the aunties.
But, what an age wrong. 90 she was your mum.
Yes.
You know, he lost yours a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
They seem to be dying out quickly, aren't they? About the older ones now, our mums and dads.
Generation.
Yeah, it's all changing now. Like how nothing like
This
the next son that oh yeah, next.
don't get mine on next on the list.
Right.
So I live in 98.
Don't think we've got anything
I
else
love
to say.
life. Love life.
We've got quite a bit to show now,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
nothing more to say. No, no more.
No.
Okay, we'll take it
No,
off
in a
now.
minute.
To the house. Right, well, we just got together again to say goodbye. We hope you've enjoyed viewing all the tapes.
It's 26th of the second one.
22nd of the 2nd
One.
February.
Remember, it's going to take
Well, I'll put that on 99 at the beginning of the tape.
oh, no.
I will do that. Yeah.
Waste of tape.
Well, until next time, we hope. Sorry that the tape is long this year.
I hope you enjoyed the favourite film and all the
Said 100 times anyway.
I never laugh over it. You can realise
I'm playing with
concentrate on that. I don't really remember.
Yeah.
It looks like he's actually standing there filming it, except the water was moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
It's almost actually stopped the clock and the wheel stopped turning.
But you don't actually see it. It was fantastic.
Well, anyway, the time's running out, so we'll say goodbye until next time. Take care of yourselves.
Yeah, look after yourself. That's all.
We'll say goodbye to Tom,
Yeah.
goodbye to Molly, goodbye to Liz, Daphne,
And the rest of them,
Dennis,
and to everybody we've forgotten that.
and everybody else we've got.
Evelyn, Arthur, Joe, Brian, and Andy.
What about? Okay, bye-bye everybody. See you again soon. Bye. Before Christmas, I kept busy doing mad shows. Not before, but after Christmas as well. There's a few photographs taken of one of the shows I was doing before Christmas. And Sheila always goes around assisting me. And this one, she's doing the job of making wands appear. And of course, we've had to put a plate on her hat. She wanted where the same had to be. We've given her an L for learner. She makes them out wands appear. Tearing up and restoring a newspaper. One of the organisers being Stride. One of my favourite tricks was the egg and the egg bag. Just before Christmas, we went to Auckland and visited some of the grandchildren. Took them on the beach picnic, and this one's daughter, Lisa, going at some of her back lessons that she'd been doing. This was taken beach at Browns Bay. And that one it is boogie board. And one of these and Gemma having a swim. Now there are also members of the Waikato Caravan Club. Just before Christmas they had a Christmas party and variety show. Of course we took part in the variety show, and here's Sheila dressed up singing a song from My Fair Lady. This time she's sitting down to it. And there's another one, just as she's walking off, carrying a bird cage after singing My Old Man to Follow the Van and Don't Dare Tell You Away. As she walked up to her applause. I just came back with a plate full of goodies during the interval before the second half. Yep, I was on the next part of the show after a quick change and once again assisting me. Well, there's here again with her hat on, Liz face. Well, she does make the med ones severe. Well, here we are back during the winter. Tim got all the materials and built a small glasshouse by the garden. And with me there is Ken,
was the latest birth. There we are, just about complete, and a little bit of preparation work. One others even wrapped it up in one weekend, and I painted it. There we are with that happy Sheila, and now she's growing seedlings in there, and she sells plants at the back. Actually, she's been very busy with them. The grass has been filled several times now with plants, and we've been selling the gate. And somewhere between $600 and $700 she raised within a couple of months. Well, this year we didn't really East Coast again, like we said we were from last year's the photographs. And Stephen with us as a shop steer and a fish on the beach. Here off in the background. Also coming away with us for a week was Stephen's mate and his girlfriend. Come away with us for a week. We put a tent on, we had caravan, and here they're just going up on the rocks for crayfish. Stephen showing off on his crayfish. Or lobsters, whichever you like to call them, depending on which tree, I think. Anyway, crayfish here. Stephen